Okay. Simple as that.
As simple as, nowadays they have gauges, they've got,
Yeah, but if you know what you're doing, it's not a problem. You don't need all
that's
that
right,
stuff.
that's right.
But
I've seen on TV some of these shows how they're coding optics nowadays. And sure, if you got $1 million and an idiot to push the button, you're in
understood.
business.
Yeah. You
But the
don't-
principle is exactly the same.
Now, you've never used this for silicon monoxide overcoating,
I never did. No.
but there is a way to do it on here.
I'm not for silicon monoxide overcoating.
Okay.
Some of the mirrors that I gave to your group in over in Kenwood, the optics 20, 30 years old, still perfect surfaces,
All right.
just bare aluminum. And my attitude was always, I can always recoat it
True.
Okay.
because silicon monoxide is a pain in the tail. We used to do it for with the electron, some of the specimens for the electron microscopes, but it was a pain
It's
in
hard
the
to get
neck.
off, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right.
So if
I
you
mean-
get the silicon monoxide in the mirror, it's now also on your bell jar.
Right. You got to clean everything. Now, I will have to admit that the proper thickness of silicon monoxide will slightly improve the reflectivity. But it's very difficult to control the amount that you put on.
How do you gauge that?
I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll do.
And what they say from people that have done it, and these guys with the electron microscopes, they really can't tell you either. It's all done by the seat of your pants. I mean, it can be done with modern equipment, yes, but it's I don't recommend it from the simple standpoint of you aren't going to notice the difference in reflectivity. You take all your big telescopes, like the 200-inch, those aren't coated with silicon monoxide. All that stuff's bare aluminum.
That's right. Well, a lot of these guys like the 88, let's get it up to 90 something percent, just trying to optimize all their squeaky little stuff. But visually, can they really see the difference? I just
That's
don't
right.
know.
What?
Got a question. This is what goes to your filaments?
No, that goes to the transformer.
No, you're right, but the other hand goes to the transformer. Goes to the
No, that
filament.
goes to this paddle. If you trace it through to that paddle.
Oh, that's the
That's the
anode.
glow discharge.
Oh, okay.
What you do,
So we'll be able to see in the vacuum, we'll be able to see like a
In a high
glowing arc
vacuum.
across there.
you make sure that it's off and it's all the way down, and you bring it up slowly. And it looks like something right out of science fiction.
Yeah.
Nice blue glow discharge. You don't want to get it too, just starting to glow discharge. Yeah, don't crank it up all the way, and it varies.
And that's for cleaning.
This is the final cleaning before you luminize.
So then
That's cleaning on a molecular level.
when we do finally want to illuminize it, what gets flipped or what?
When you really want to get to illuminize, okay, there you go. There's your filament.
And we do it and we watch it happen.
You watch that. You watch and you'll see it start getting red hot, and pretty soon everything will
So somewhere,
get
It's aluminum.
so
everything will get covered with aluminum, right?
so that thing down there is what we're adjusting.
This is strictly for the high voltage arc discharge.
This turns it on,
Yeah.
and then this controls the amount of high voltage.
So then when we're melting this on here, we're cranking this up just a
Right,
little bit.
Right, but don't have to make sure this is off.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then when we're ready to illuminize,
this is what you bring it up, right?
and somewhere along the way we'll notice it's at a point where it's doing its thing and
Where
we
it's doing its
quit
thing.
turning the knob.
What do these do here?
These are water control.
Oh, water control here.
For the
Okay, so-
diffusion pump. These are just water valves.
Okay,
On.
gotcha.
For cooling the
Diffusion
oil
pump.
distribution pump.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And this is the inlet here.
For water.
This thing was cut here, so we got to hook that
Right,
up again.
and I think the hose, the pieces I gave you are long enough to do the job.
Okay,
And
that goes to the transformer.
So this
What
really,
about these two guys? I'm sorry, Jeff. What about these two guys? Where do these go?
forget them.
Okay, we don't need them.
They just go to some of these here.
Okay, you don't need to do that.
Okay.
They're
Yeah, forget these.
Extraneous.
These are plugs.
So-
okay.
when we're doing a mirror, let's say it's a 12-inch mirror, it's way up here. We're still
Yeah.
only using just this one.
That's right. That's right. Right. And I mean, this was doing some small optics.
So you just rested on there and it just,
Yeah, see, I mean, you can see the pattern.
oh, I see. So the mirror's just gravitationally resting on there.
Just resting on there.
I dig it.
Small mirrors.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He gave me some
And-
apparatus
and
here.
things
That's
like
okay.
this.
Yeah, that's sport there.
Things like this are strictly to try and keep aluminum off of things to prevent arc overs, things like
Okay,
this.
there you go.
I mean, you try and avoid. Nobody ever figured out how to completely keep the bell jar clean while they're aluminizing, as you can see.
Yes.
But things like this paddle and stuff give you windows that you can kind of see inside.
Well, the trick is to go out in space so you don't need a bell jar.
Yeah, but there's so much crap floating around out there nowadays.
Yeah, you got a good point.
How are you going to clean it?
So, this guy here is switching to these to on.
It turns the filaments off and on, right?
That's the pump. That's a mechanical pump. It turns everything on.
Right.
What's the thermocouples here?
Okay, there's two thermocouples underneath. Always leave it on number 2.
Okay.
And there's your charts. And the days of being able to measure these pressures, it's a very crude method even today. How some professor would come up and say, well, this is the absolute pressure. It's only 2 microns above absolute vacuum. He's guessing like everybody else.
Sure.
But he
What?
talks like an expert.
How will I use this chart to do something? Is that something I need to know, or?
Not really.
Okay.
I would take one of these pieces of any window glass.
Just a piece of glass. Yeah,
Just
just
a piece
practice.
of glass and put it on here
Okay.
and play.
Bob, what's this do?
Trying to remember what that. Oh. It might be in one of these boxes. I had a little turntable with a little clock motor on it,
Oh.
so I could rotate something.
Oh, and that
because
does that?
I coded in the lab. I inherited this in my lab from the molecular microscope group, and so I coded all kinds of things. I mean, not necessarily optics.
Okay.
I did Kohler counter electrodes, which had to be coded on
Okay, so you need to turn
circulars.
it.
I needed a turntable.
Okay, so that's
And
not
that's
relevant.
all this
Yeah,
was,
we don't
turn
need
the
that.
turntable off and on, yeah.
Forget that.
So, I can't really hurt anything, can I? I mean, like if
No.
I start practicing, it's not like I'm gonna, unless I start illuminizing with the chamber, or say I turn the
Nothing.
filament on while there's still
you could
air
ruin
in
the
there.
filament.
Yeah.
You could ruin the filament. That's all, and you got enough tungsten to last you 20 years.
But I should be running water when
Yeah,
if
that's
I'm
the
running
only
the
thing you
diffusion
can.
pump.
Only thing you can damage is turning the diffusion pump on without water, and let it cool down after you turn it off. Make sure it's cooled down. That when you can put your hand on here, it's cool.
Okay.
When you turn the water
When
off.
you can put
Find
your
that
hand,
out the hard
when
way
you-
the first time it's
That's
too
right.
hot, right?
And also, don't run the mechanical pump or the diffusion pump open to the atmosphere.
Oh, okay. Just wears it out, right?
Well, it contaminates the
Yeah,
oil.
makes sense.
Oh, shit.
In other words, you're going to have to run this probably for a couple hours because it's been sitting here, even though
Sure.
I mean, it picks up crap from the air.
And what kind of oil you put in there? When the
Uh,
time comes?
I
Is there
think-
any special oil we need to get?
Yeah,